Hi guys, I hope you're all doing really well, and I really felt the need to make this video. Things are not really that good at the moment in terms of myself, um, spiritually, and also physically as well. But I really wanted to make this video and put it out to the world. I wanted to explain a little bit about my soul journey um, as an individual soul. A lot of this information is coming from my higher self and my intuition. So yeah, I really just wanted to put it out there for people to get a little bit of a better understanding for me and my soul journey, as it's been it's been very difficult. Um, a lot has gone on with me, particularly in this specific incarnation. So yeah, I just want to make this video and talk a little bit about my soul journey. So I I originate, as far as I'm aware, I come from one of the Orion soul groups. I believe that I had incarnations on Mintanka, which was kind of like a mermaid esque realm. We were extremely advanced um, spiritual beings. We had kind of nine density consciousness. Um, we lived in a water world. It was very beautiful. I do have some memories from Mintanka, and from what I can say, it was a very beautiful place. The I believe what happened was Mintanka was destroyed by some negative orientated Orion beings. I'm not exactly sure on the beings who destroyed that specific place within the cosmos, within the multiverse. Then I think from Mintanka, I then had incarnations on. Uh, I had several other incarnations as Orion esque beings. Um, I believe I believe my soul has always been very healthcare orientated. I believe that I have done several healthcare orientated um, sort of missions, if you like, within the Orion system. Um, so that I also felt a lot of that when I um, came into this incarnation. I felt that one of my callings was potentially, working with healthcare. Um, I get the feeling that I was perhaps some kind of leader, or something of that, um, something around that ilk. Now, as far as I'm aware, Orion for a long time was in a lot of conflict. There was a lot of wars going on in the Orion system. I believe what then happened is a lot of souls from Orion actually fled elsewhere. As far as I'm aware, I actually went to Arcturus. I believe that I incarnated into Arcturus several times. Um, I believe that I did quite a. I believe I worked primarily on the Stargate sort of processing and healing souls that came through Arcturus. I do have some memories of Arcturus, a lot of sacred geometry, and very very high vibrational beings on Arcturus. So yeah, I believe what happened is I spent a bit of time on Arcturus, and then from there, I then believe that I decided to come to Earth and play the Earth game, which for me has been a little bit of a ride. I know some souls have it a little bit easier over here. Some souls don't have such a great time here on Earth. So that's kind of like my galactic history. So, like I say, I believe that I originate from Orion. And then believe that I sort of went then onto Arcturus, and did some work over there. In terms of further back than that, there is something in my mind that says that I may have originated from the Orion Nebula, which is the Orion Nebula is. I get the feeling that I may have come from some oversoul within the Orion Nebula, and then carried out galactic work on Orion and Arcturus, initially from the nebula. However, I'm not fully certain of that. That is just a feeling that I get inside. There is a possibility that my soul does originate from the Orion Nebula within the Milky Way galaxy, but I'm not fully sure on that. So yeah. So as I was saying, I've had Orion incarnations and Arcturian incarnations. I have a lot of healing and healthcare, spiritual development tools within my, within my system, embedded within my consciousness. Now this is where we get onto Earth, which is obviously we're on Earth now. This is like really where what I want to talk about, and just explain a little bit about my story. It's quite complex, especially if you're not that familiar with certain spiritual ideology, or maybe you don't have an understanding of how how we work from a spiritual point of view. But I will do my best to explain a little bit about my story. So, as far as I'm aware, I've had several incarnations on Earth. I believe that I have had. I believe that I was on. I incarnated on in the Atlantis period. From what I can remember, I was just a spiritual healer. I did a lot of healing work, so I was sort of psychic. I had strong psychic abilities. I was able to heal a lot of people. I do have some very vivid memories of Atlantis. I'm sure there's a lot more to it than what my memory can bring me back. So I believe that I was around in the Atlantean period. And then I also think that I had some Egyptian lifetimes as well. I believe that I met some of my most loved family members on the around the Egyptian period of my sort of journey. And then kind of I'm not sure if I had any kind of Lemurian incarnations, although I'm not sure. It's possible. Then kind of as I progressed along, I had some quite significant incarnations which have massively affected this specific life that I'm living now. One of them, I believe, possibly around the 1700s period on Earth time. I was actually part of a naval group, and I believe what happened during this time is that I actually I ended up doing some quite bad things. I ended up, I lived a quite aggressive lifestyle. I believe what happened is I actually picked up some contracts, with some beings, which I believe they portrayed themselves as positive, when actually they were negative oriented beings. They didn't particularly have my best interest at heart, although I believe what did happen is I sort of fell for the I sort of fell for it a little bit. Perhaps I didn't realize that I was working with negative oriented beings. And this specific group of beings, they have actually followed me into this specific lifetime that I'm living now, and caused me a whole load of problems, which I'm going to get onto. Now, talking about this specific incarnation that I'm living now as me, speaking to you, there has been several different versions of this lifetime. I believe what I have done is I have actually lived this specific life several times, and I've sort of died, and then I believe that I've actually come back into the same life and attempted to alter the same timeline. Now, you might be wondering, why exactly have I done this? And as far as I'm aware, I've actually had my astral body, which is essentially the body with your chakra system, and your energy body. Connect Essentially, what that does is that connects to the soul, and essentially gives you life force. What I believe has happened is that my astral body has actually been abducted and taken from my body every single time that I have attempted to reincarnate back into this life. Now, as far as I'm aware, there was an initial lifetime. There was a version number one of this life that I'm living now. I believe that I did have quite a big mission here on Earth. I do think that I had a big mission, and it was a lot of it was to do with really helping bring spiritual evolution back to humanity. So when I first incarnated into this lifetime, the intention, of course, was to fulfill that mission. But what I believe happened is the beings which I mentioned from this previous lifetime actually hijacked me within that lifetime and veered me in a very different direction as to what I actually intended for my soul within this incarnation. Now, of course, take this as you will. You may potentially have some memories of this, especially if you live in the UK. I believe that my work was done primarily in the UK region. However, it may have been sort of elsewhere. I can't quite remember exactly what happened, but I believe version one of this specific lifetime I actually um, I actually did false light work. I worked for these beings, and I did some very destructive work. I believe that I was responsible for some quite negative spiritual healing work, which I believe um, hurt a lot of souls. Um, I can assure you that that was, that was unintentional. I wasn't aware that I was being veered off course at the time. Um, I know that I sort of, these beings found ways to get into my mind and veer me in the direction of what they wanted me to do. And at the time, I didn't have the awareness that exactly was happening. So I ended up. Um, I believe that I did something to do with the NHS. It was possible that I actually led the NHS. That I was, the main guy in charge. I get the feeling, this could be wrong. I get the feeling that I may have um, I may have disguised the healing work that I was doing as Arcturian healing, when in actual fact it wasn't Arcturian healing. It was healing that was it was false. It was false light, and this may have of course may have really negatively affected a lot of souls, especially if you're somebody who came in to receive healing, if your soul came to receive healing at that time. Now, I believe what happened after this first incarnation is, of course, then I died. And then I believe what happened after that is I very quickly realized that I'd made a mistake, that the work that I was doing was of false light. It wasn't of divine light, which is that's exactly what I came here to do. And what then happened is, I think I get the feeling a lot of souls, we sort of came back. A lot of souls came back and reincarnated again, um, onto the same timeline, as a way to essentially prevent what happened the first time round. Um, my intention, my reason for coming back was to, I believe the first reason was to rectify what I'd done. The intention was to live a slightly less, less in the spotlight kind of life, a little bit more relaxed, and just I believe that actually I should have died early. I should have taken an early exit, at a young age. Really, what my mission was to, raise the Kundalini, get to that place of enlightenment as quickly as possible, and then die so that I could actually move on to. Then I can actually go back home. However, when I attempted the second attempt number two, the dark forces that were initially that I was initially doing the work for, they put something in place. They didn't want me to go back home to where I came from. So what they actually did is that they put a plan in place, and I'm gonna tell you about the plan. I might as well explain it in the best way that I can. So What happened is, at about the age of 13 and 14, um, I actually had my astral body, which once again is the material that connects the soul to the body. It is what enables us to, um, you know, live a soulful life. Your astral body is also what is responsible when you die. You go into the astral realms, and then you can sort of actually go back to where you belong, or you can sort of um, you can live within the astral realm and do loads of different kinds of things. Now, as far as I'm aware, my astral body was abducted, so it was taken from my body, and it was essentially put into a trap. It was trapped in some kind of, I don't know what it was, but it was something with that has been set up within the multiverse, and it was trapped inside. I remember going through the lifetime, dying, and then sort of waking up inside this kind of. I was conscious, but it was like I was trapped. I was stuck in some kind of unit that was that obviously this was done, intentionally. So then what I believe happened is kind of that lifetime happened, and then I really had no other option but to continue reincarnating into this current lifetime. Um, I had to keep reincarnating into this lifetime. What I needed to do was die and then go back home, to Arcturus or wherever it was that I, intended on going next. The problem is every time that I reincarnated back into this lifetime, the exact same thing was happening. The astral body was abducted. A series of other things happened. Then I died, and then I continued to go back. Now the thing is, as far as I'm aware, we only have so much astral material, if you'd like, that we can actually use to incarnate into human form. Now, what I kind of gather and understand from what happened is that all of my astral material had been taken. The intention, I believe, was to potentially trap me from actually going back to where I belong. And there was there was a last time that I lived this life, and I as far as I'm aware, from me speaking to you now, although this has already happened, which is really hard to get your head around. I actually don't know if I feel like I'm stuck in some kind of a trap. The current lifetime that I've lived now, as far as I'm aware, I'm more or less observing the lifetime. I'm more or less observing it from a observing point of view. I don't feel connected to my body. I don't feel like I have an astral body. I believe what I'm doing is I'm observing. I'm somewhat observing. There is a level of freedom here because I am. I'm able to speak to you now and communicate this across to you guys, but I believe that I am more or less observing this lifetime, and I don't have any astral material left to reincarnate back into this lifetime so that I can actually move on to where I want to go. Now, this is a massive problem. It is a massive problem. It is causing me extreme loneliness. I never intended for this to happen, but it is happening. As far as I'm aware, I keep continuing to reincarnate. I continue to come back into this lifetime and sort of relive it. But the exact same thing seems to keep happening. I feel like I'm unable to break free from this realm, and it's very lonely. It's very it's very uncomfortable. And what has happened to me is um, has been intentional, and is really not good. Um, yeah, it just simply means that I keep coming back into the same lifetime, and I'm living it over again, and I'm not able to break free to where I really want to go. So yeah, I just really wanted to make this video to tell you my story. Um, it's very it's very challenging, because there is a little bit more to it as well. There is some um, internal being. There was a being that was actually put inside my body as well at a very young age, and use certain mind control tactics and things like that as well. So there's a lot more to it. But I really just wanted to tell you my story, and put it out to the world. This has been difficult for me to talk about. I do feel incredibly alone in this situation, and yeah, thank you for watching, and take it easy.